Hey, and welcome to Board with Life News for November 30th. Today I'm going to talk about Destination Fun, Legends of Wendigo, Honshu, Maduris, Mountains of Madness, and the Kickstarter for Vast the Crystal Caverns. Let's get to it. Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to Board with Life News. This past Monday, I posted a video of my top 10 new games that I got to play at BGGCon 2016. I got to play a ton of new games, and I picked out my 10 new ones. Most of them came out of Essen, so if you're looking at my opinion or what I think of some of the new hotness, definitely go watch that video, and yeah, good stuff. This week, AEG announced Destination Fun, which is an expansion for all three of their games, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Haha, like the movie. So this is going to have little expansions for all three of their games, but it comes in a pretty big box. It's a fun idea, but it is that thing where if you only own one of the games, you're probably not going to buy it. If you own two of them, you might buy it. I don't know if it's going to influence you to buy a third game. So it's definitely a creative idea. I just wish it was kind of more of like a promo situation as opposed to like having to buy a whole big expansion for games that you might not own. Yellow has announced Legends of Wendigo, which is sort of like a kid's version of Werewolf, it looks like, where it's for ages 6 and up, so obviously a younger game. And there's somebody that's possessed by the Wendigo, and they take somebody at night, and then there's a memory aspect, so I'm not sure how it differs from actual Werewolf. They don't go into great detail on that, but it's Yellow. Yellow usually makes pretty good games. They always have fantastic art, so that's exciting there, especially if you got kids that like to play games. At BGGCon, Renegade announced that they had picked up Honshu for US distribution. Honshu is like a tile laying game or card laying game where you're trying to build cities, but you're also kind of drafting cards or auctioning cards. I got a chance to play it. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I seem to be in the minority. There were a lot of people very, very excited about this game. So that's definitely exciting if you are a fan of Honshu. Haba has announced Maduris. This is a worker placement game where you're trying to earn favor of the gods by building temples. Very generic theme in board games these days. But Haba recently, last year or the year before, expanded out from just kids games, mostly dexterity games, into these family level games like Adventureland or Karuba, which was nominated for the Spiel. So they've definitely put a big stamp pretty rapidly in this kind of like family game level territory. This looks like it's going to be their heaviest game to date. It has wonderful artwork. It's really bright colors. I'm a fan of the way the board looks, so I'm pretty excited to try this one out. More news from Yellow. They've announced Mountains of Madness, which is going to be designed by Rob Daviau, obviously the designer of Legacy, the Legacy Mechanic, and Seafall, and one of the designers of Pandemic Legacy. And this is going to be a fully cooperative game with a pinch of real-time gameplay, they say. So I don't know what that means. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a Legacy game because they didn't say Legacy in it, and I assume they would if they had Rob Daviau attached, and it was. It's going to release its Spiel in 2017, so next October. I don't know if we need another co-op Lovecraft game. I mean, I know they're still selling, but there are so many cooperative games set in the Lovecraft universe that, boy, it's pretty tough to get me excited about them. But, I mean, the Arkham Horror LCG just came out, and people are raving about that, so clearly there's still room in this market, I guess, but I don't know. Boring to me. This week's Kickstarter is for the second printing of Vast the Crystal Caverns. This game came out last year. It was a very successful Kickstarter, and it was one of the most unique games to have come out in the past couple years. Basically, it's an incredibly... everyone is playing their own game, and it's totally different. Total different mechanics. Everything's different from the other players. And you can play as like the knight who's trying to find treasure, or the goblins who are trying to stop the knight, or the dragon who's trying to wake up, or the cave itself, which is the most interesting role in my opinion. So this is for the second printing of the game, but they also have new expansion characters, the ghost and the ghoul. They add more players in, and also you can get really cool miniatures if you want to just get those separate or add them to your game. So that's pretty exciting. It's doing super well. It's $60 right now on Kickstarter, so if that sounds intriguing to you, definitely go pick that up. All right, that's the news for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to this page. Make sure you follow me on social media. I'm at Chris Bryan Games on Instagram and Twitter. And go check out my Patreon page if you like what I do, because it's the reason I'm able to do what I do. So there's some different reward levels there, and maybe something will fit you, and I would really appreciate if you could help me out that way. This week's question, unfortunately, comes from at Policino via Twitter. That's Paul Dean from Shut Up and Sit Down. And every week he incessantly posts videos for me to answer the questions, and then gets mad at me for not. So this week, Paul, I'm answering your question. He posted the video for Do You Know the Way to San Jose? and I assume he meant from my house, even though he lives in Canada and I live in Texas. But I did put it into Google Maps, and it's going to take me about 25 hours driving. I start out, I'm going to go University 380, and then I keep going through some other stuff, but then I get to US 287 North, and that's where the bulk of the driving is going to happen. I go 211 miles there, and then I merge onto US 287 North again, which is 964 miles. So this is really where that's happening. Then I'm going to take a little bit on California 58 West, then even more on California 58 West, then more on California 58 West, and then there's some little stuff. I'm going to go on Stockdale Highway for 9 miles. Then I'm going to take exit 403B for California 152 West towards Gilroy, Hollister, and San Jose. Now we're really cooking with fire with that San Jose there, and I'm going to go 29 miles there. 12 mile... Yeah, I mean, the bulk of it's just going to be on that US 287 North. But I think he could just go south. You just go to the ocean in Canada and then just go south, and then you'd hit San Jose eventually, because that's how all of California is, where pretty much everything is on the coast. I don't even know if San Jose is on the coast, so I'm just assuming, because why wouldn't it be? All right, that's a really bad question, Paul, but thanks for asking it anyway. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.